So a lot of people have asked us here at Octave Studios, which is part of Octave Records, clever naming, right? How our system recording DSD works. They want to know, why do we use DSD? How does it work? And what is this Pyramix system that we keep talking about? All right, well, let's start with what DSD is. Back in, oh gosh, decades ago, when Sony had the CD, Sony and Philips invented the CD back in 1982, and 10, 15 years later, they wanted to up the game and do surround sound, and they wanted to come up with a better recording method that was higher resolution. Now, by that time, by the 10 years, 15 years later, the sample rates of CDs, which is 44 kilohertz, 44.1 kilohertz, 16 bits, it's kind of limited by the disc itself. You really can't put anything more on that. But over that time, DVD discs started coming out. People were watching movies, and they had much greater storage capacity than the just under 1 megabyte of storage that's available on a CD. And so these higher sample rates started coming out. And meanwhile, Sony is working on, with a bunch of passionate engineers, a better means of recording, something that actually sounded more like analog tape at the time, which is how they captured analog on recording tape, yet without the limitations of tape and vinyl. And the limitations of tape and vinyl are frequency response. Tape can go out at 30 IPS, 30 inches per second, half-inch tape has pretty good bandwidth. I mean, it's beyond the level of human hearing, but still, it is limited. Tape noise. You know, what we wanted was a very analog sounding way of capturing everything in the recording chain. And what they came up with is called pulse density modulation, PDM. And that is a 1-bit system that they came up with a clever name, DSD, Direct Stream Digital. And they came out with SACDs and tried it, and it was great. It was better, and still is better, than an original recording in PCM, but for whatever reason, it never took off. And it was just easier to do PCM, so that's what we got stuck with. Well, at Octave Records, at Octave Studios, our goal is to become one of, if not the best, sounding recording studios in the world. We don't compromise with sound quality. We do what it takes to get and capture the very best. We own the very best microphones in the world. I mean, some of our microphones are $20,000 and $30,000 each. I mean, that's a lot of money for a microphone. Our mic preamps, all that. We have all the good stuff, but capturing it is where the magic is. Capturing, mixing, using only the best electronics to do all of that. So anyway, enough of that. When we decided, through listening, through study, that DSD was the very best means of capturing what's on the microphone or on the synthesizer, whatever we're doing, then we had to find a way to use it. Well, DSD is interesting because it's very fast, very high bandwidth. This system, Pyramix, is one of the only systems in the world that can handle something greater than single-rate DSD. Single-rate DSD, it runs at what we call 64 FS. 64 FS means 64 times the 44.1 kilohertz sample rate of CD. So just multiply 44.1 times 64 and you get, what is it, 2.82 megahertz. And that's the sample rate that single rate DSD runs at. And when we first started Octave Records, we ran for a very long time on the Sonoma system, which is what Sony had created, and our friend and mastering engineer Gus Skinnis, swears by. And it's a great system. But we wanted to take it another step forward, further. So the Pyramix system is a digital audio workstation, not for the faint of heart. This thing is, I mean, I'll explain to you in the next video. We'll go through some of this stuff, but you can see, that it's fairly standard. You've got all your tracks, you've got your mixing board. You can hit here. We start playing music. And this is all tracked down here. Anyway, check with me in a day or so, and I'll have some more stuff for you on Pyramix and recording, and we'll get to that, okay? Thanks for listening. Talk to you in a little bit.